This is a video of the 6013 group assignment presentation on the topic of case study design. We are the sixth group. The group members are Ying Hao, Liu Luwei, Zhang Hanwen, and Xie Xiaoyu. Before we start, I would like to tell you about the main content of this presentation. The first part is an introduction to the case study design itself, with 5 sections: definition, characteristics, strengths and weaknesses, reliability and validity, and steps. The second part starts with the case study literature and analyze the following 9 panels, which are basic information, purpose of the study, variables, conceptual and theoretical framework, population, sample and sampling methods, reliability and validity, research instrument, research results, discussion and suggestions for future research. Definition. Case study is a research method that involves an in-depth examination of a specific individual, group, or organization in order to understand a particular phenomenon or problem. Case study research is often used in the social sciences such as sociology, psychology, anthropology, and political science, as well as in fields such as education, business, and public health. The case study design usually starts with a research question and then use a variety of data collection methods such as interviews, observations, and document analysis to gather information about the case or cases. This information is analyzed into different patterns, themes, and relationships, and the findings are reported in a written report or paper. The researcher then draws conclusions and makes recommendations based on these findings. Case study design is known for its flexibility and adaptability, as it allows for the examination of complex, multifaceted, and dynamic phenomena in the real-world context. There are several characteristic features of case study design: in-depth examination, contextualized understanding, flexibility and adaptability, multi-method approach, iterative process. Holistic perspective emphasizes on real-world application, focus on a specific unit of analysis. According to the type of problem indeed intended to be solved and the number of people involved in the study, it can be broadly divided into 2 categories. There are several types of case study designs, including exploratory, descriptive, explanatory, and evaluative. Each of these types of case study designs has its own strengths and weaknesses, and the choice of design will depend on the specific research question and the overall goals of the study. For example, exploratory case studies are useful for generating new hypotheses and identifying potential areas of study, but they may not provide detailed information about a specific case. On the other hand, evaluative case studies are useful for assessing the effectiveness of a particular program or intervention, but they may not provide insight into the underlying cases of a phenomenon or problem. For the different number of participants in the study, there is also the following classification: single case study designs and multi-case study designs. Both single case study designs and multi-case study designs have their own set of characteristics. Single case study designs are characterized by their in-depth examination of a single case. They are focused on the unique characteristics of the case and the use of the multiple methods to collect the data. Multi-case study designs, on the other hand, are characterized by their examination of multiple cases, their focus on comparing and contrasting cases, and the use of a variety of methods to collect data. The relationship between these 2 types of case study designs is that multi-case study designs can be used to validate findings from single case study designs. For example, a researcher may conduct a single case study on a specific individual and then conduct a multi-case study to see if their findings are consistent across multiple individuals. Additionally, single case study designs can be used as a starting point for a multi-case study, where the researcher examines multiple case studies to see if the findings from the single case study hold up across multiple cases. Advantages and disadvantages. Benefits of case study research include provides a detailed understanding, allows for the examination of complex and dynamic phenomena, generates insights and recommendations, can be used to generate new hypotheses, can be used to study rare or unique cases. Limitations of case study design research include limited generalizability, potential for researcher bias, potential for observer effects, time-consuming and resource-intensive, limited external. Here are some of the methods commonly used in case studies to ensure reliability and validity, and I will expand on this section in more detail later. So let's see the methods first. For example, triangulation, member checking, peer review, prolonged engagement, replication, reflexivity, logic and reasoning. Use a clear and consistent methodology. Use appropriate statistical analysis. Use a pilot study. Use existing theories. Use a mixed method approach. Include negative cases. Use a case study protocol. Collaboration, use of multiple cases, use of a control group, use of historical data, use of case study software. Although we have just introduced the different methods, we have used different methods for different types of reliability and validity. We have organized the methods used for different types of reliability and validity and the research phrase in which the methods are used, which is also a start for us to introduce the research steps afterwards. So what are the research steps of the case study design? And define the research question, choose the case or cases, gather data, analyze the data, report the findings, draw conclusions and make recommendations, verify the findings, disseminate the findings, reflect on the process, and follow up. It is important to know that case study research is an interactive process, meaning that you might need to go back and forth between different steps, making adjustments as needed before you have a complete and satisfying result. And it is important to keep in mind that case study research is a flexible and adaptable method. And the specific steps and details of the process may vary depending on the research question, the cases chosen, and the researcher's goal and objectives. In addition, we summarized a table and a chart, the case study design into 3 stages, 8 steps, and each step we need to do what content. Then the 3 steps are preparation stage, implementation stage, and conversation stage. 8 steps are start, study design and case selection, research tools and methodology selection, data collection, data analysis, hypothesis formation, literature dialogue, and the end. For each part of the content to do, here not in detail to start reading one by one. This interested students can also pause the video for more detailed records. Of course, there is also the flow chart of our summary. This chart represents the steps of the multi-case study design. As we mentioned before, there is a constant return to the process of reselecting subjects to participate in the study before the summary, so it is not represented in this chart. Let's take a look at the various parts of a case study's literature. So first, let's see the paper title. It's Experiences of a Nature-Based Intervention Program in a Northern Natural Setting, a longitudinal case study of 2 women with stress-related illness. Research aim and objectives to explore the experiences of people with stress-related illness participating in a nature-based intervention program in a Northern Natural Setting. Variables. The variable involved in this text is the nature-based intervention program and its effects on individuals with stress-related illness. The study design employs a longitudinal case study approach to observe the phenomenon over time, and the data is collected through various sources such as semi-structured interviews, diary entries, and rating and self-assessment scales to provide an in-depth understanding of the NBI program and its effect on its participants. The study citing the small farm located in northern Sweden where the MBA program takes place and where activities such as feeding, brushing, petting, and participating leadership with horses, cleaning the horse stalls, and forest bathing are conducted. The participants' experiences and reflections on the program are also noted and analyzed. The sampling method is purposive sampling method. The conclusion criteria were people 18 years of age or older who were experiencing stress-related illness. Participants were recruited with a purposive sampling during the winter 2021. The head of a primary healthcare center was contacted and granted permission to inform patients who met the conclusion criteria about the study. Two conversational therapists on the primary healthcare center working with patients with stress-related illness give patients who met the conclusion criteria a short written information about the study and the contact information of the first author. 3 women contacted the first author by telephone and received oral information about the aim and the procedure of the study. All of them expressed interest to participate and received a more comprehensive writing information and a consent form by post which the signed and sent back. One, however, withdrew her participation after the first session. The sample are 2 women about 55 years old chose to participate. One lived with her partner and 2 children, and the other lived along with her dog. One had a high school education, and the other had a vocational training. One worked in the manufacturing industry, and the other worked in social care, and both were permanent full-time employees. Just over a year before the study began, both women had been on full-time sick leave due to the exhaustion disorder and had gradually increased the amount of time they worked until their health insurance ran out. Well, one of the women chose only 85% employment due to her stress-related health issues during the period of the study. The other women engaged in tasks at work that differed from her usual responsibility due to her stress-related health issues. They both had attended cognitive behavioral therapy, while one of the women had participated in an MBA program on the same farm 1 year earlier. The other had no previous experience with MBI. The conceptual framework of this text is likely based on the idea that cognitive behavioral therapy and multimodal treatment programs are effective in reducing symptoms of stress and exhaustion disorder. The paper also suggested that nature-based intervention can be a valuable treatment option for stress-related illness and can be combined with other treatments such as cognitive behavioral therapy, meditation, and counseling. The paper also suggests that spending time in nature, such as gardening, farming, physical activity, or interaction with animals in a supportive natural environment can help to relieve stress and improve health and well-being. Additionally, the paper also suggests that the imbalance between everyday occupations such as employment, domestic work, leisure, rest, recreation. The theoretical framework of the paper is likely based on the idea that mental illness, particularly stress-related illness, is a significant contributor to ill health and disability globally. The paper also references a series of biophilia which suggest that people have an innate affinity for nature and that contact with nature can be beneficial for human well-being. Additionally, the text also references the concept of exhaustion and the exhaustion disorder, which is caused by long-term exposure to stress with an insufficient opportunity for recovery, characterized by physical and mental fatigue, and often combined with symptoms of depression. The paper also references the literature on work environment factors, such as low support and the feeling of not having control in one's job, also increase the risk of stress-related illness. Expect the ethical criteria. The author uses several methods to ensure this paper's validity and reliability. First, an in-depth and extensive description of the phenomena under study was achieved through the use of data triangulation method, a semi-structured interview method through the development of a separate interview guide for each interviewing setting. By making it easier to interview subjects through non-face-to-face interviews and thus obtaining more data, through the use of skills with high reliability, the study was approved by the Swedish Ethical Reviewing Authority. A correct checklist was used to ensure that all key areas of study were presented. Research tools, semi-structured interviews, diary, rating scales. The two scales in the calendar detect the stress and the health status of the subjects respectively. Self-assessment questionnaires. The paper mentions two self-assessment questionnaires. The first is the outcome rating scale, and the second is the Shapiro-Milliman burnout questionnaires. The ORS measures functioning in everyday life and covers 4 areas: individually, interpersonally, socially, and overall. The SMBQ measures stress-related exhaustion and includes 4 subscales: emotional and physical fatigue, listlessness, tension, and cognitive awareness. Data analysis methods. The paper describes the use of multiple data analysis methods, including qualitative content analysis, rating scales and questionnaires analysis, and data triangulation. The methods used to analyze the interview transcripts, diaries, and self-assessment ratings are described in detail, including the use of qualitative content analysis, outcome rating scale, Shapiro-Milliman burnout questionnaire, and adding scores to a total score. Results. The theme of finding a source for recovery and well-being permeates all categories. The participants perceived the farm and nature to be calming refuge. They learned to be in the present and could manage the tasks. In togetherness with each other and the facilitator on the farm, they felt understood and confident, experienced joy, and found opportunities for change. They gained knowledge and positive memories and found new approaches in life. Self-assessment questionnaires indicated improvements of functioning in everyday life and reduced stress-related exhaustion at the end of the MBA programming. Discussion. This case study explores the experience of people with stress-related illness participating in a nature-based intervention program in a northern natural setting. The results show that the participant found the warmth and the nature to be calming refuge and a source for recovery and well-being. They learned to be in the present, feel understood, and experience the confidence and the joy. They also gained knowledge and positive memories and found new approaches in life. Then the study found the setting method aspects of a supportive care environment, that spending time with horses was highly appreciated and affected the participants emotionally in a positive way. The study also references theories such as the attention restoration theory and the supportive environment theory to explain the positive effects of nature on the participants. Implications and future research. This paper discusses several limitations of the study, including the short duration of the MBI program, which may have limited the outcome. The use of a homogeneous sample of participants, which may have limited to generalizability of the results. And one participant have previous experience of MBI, which may have affected her expectations and experiences. It also mentions that case studies have a lack of generalizability due to the inclusion of a few participants, but emphasizes that it is important that the selection of participants is strategic and appropriate to be able to answer the research question, and that case studies use an analytic generalization comparing the results to earlier series. Okay, that's all. Thank you for listening.